Hello and welcome to the introduction of patch 4 changes. So this patch is going to be big. There will be significant buffs and nerfs to the AD carry champions, a new AD carry item, a new support item, changes to AP mid laners and tanks. I will cover a lot of the changes, but I will try to be as clear and as short as possible. Without further ado, let's jump into the changes, shall we? So first of all, it's the BF sword. They buff its damage by 5. It's not a big deal, but it matters when it matters to the items it builds into. Secondly, there is the Infinity Edge. They buff its damage by 10. I'll talk how this changes item paths later. Mercurial Scimitar, they increase its damage to 80. They also increase its damage to 80. Its total cost is increased by 100. But they give it a really nice buff to the active. Active now gives the movement speed to ranged champions. Now AD carries can actually kite really successfully after they get crowd controlled. Next is the Almost Ghost Blade. It lasts 6 seconds on ranged characters. It's not a big deal, I won't waste so much time on it. So the big changes start from here. Dagger costs 450 now, but it gives 15% attack speed. It's quite good, but the Zeal, it gives more attack speed and it costs less, which means they buff it really hard. Well, I think this affects really auto-attacking AD carries, like let's say Vayne or Jinx or whatever. The auto-attacking AD carries, not the caster AD carries. The Berserker Greaves change. This is a consequence of the dagger change, not a big deal. Now, this is one of the biggest changes this patch. They reduce its health by 10, they reduce its damage by 1, and they remove the life hit on passive. Now they give it a 3% lifesteal. Doran's Bait was a really dominant item early game. You basically buy 2 or 3 Doran's Baits and win the lane, but those don't transition well into the mid and late game, so that's why people don't buy so much, because that's got to effectively wasted. They don't build into anything, they don't scale. But now they try to focus more on the mid game by giving this 3% attack speed, and I think this is a change. This change is made especially for AD carries. I don't think this change is in the right direction. The health in the AD that Doran's Blade gives again a good laning item, but 3% lifesteal is not much. They basically force you to buy 2 or 3 to sustain, to just sustain normally. So yeah. Another big change is the Vampiric Scepter. They nerf its lifesteal to 8%. So now if you run 2 lifesteal quints and buy 2 Doran's Baits, you have 9% lifesteal, which is more than a Vampiric Scepter. They nerf the Bilgewater Cutters. That's expected after the Vampiric Scepter nerf. Here this change is big. Blade of the Ruined King. They reduce its lifesteal by 5%, meaning it now gives 10%, only 10%. They increase its proc damage from 5 to 8% current health. This is pretty good for heavy auto-attacking champions like Vayne, Lucian. I see Lucian's build it too. I build it as a last item if I face super tanks or whatever. They reduce the active nuke damage. So this is pretty big. This basically removes its snowball potential. Like before, you just kill your lane, like your jungle ganks for you, and you get a double kill on bot lane, right? And you have enough gold, so you buy the blade doing king on AD carries like Ezreal and whatever. Maybe some Lucians always rush it. I don't see it often, but some Lucians do. What this means is that you just walk into them, nuke them with the active, and just run them down and kill them. This was pretty overpowered, but it's a good change. Yeah, it's a good change. Changing to more of a consistent damage output rather than nuke. Active movement speed slow. Yeah, you won't chase as hard as before. This is a pretty big nerf to champions like Shyvana. Like, I'm a top laner and I play Shyvana quite a lot. I just sometimes I rush the blade doing king first, sometimes I get it second, but I always do. I always get the blade. The movement speed still is probably the biggest part of the blade which helps Shyvana. She does have other gap closes than her ultimate. Excuse me. What was I saying? She does have other gap closes from her ultimate, other than her ultimate. She doesn't have any crowd control. The knockback doesn't really help when you chase. The only thing she has to catch targets is her double, and she can be slowed and kited really easily. The movement speed still was really big because you steal the movement speed and the enemy just cannot turn from you. Just run them down and kill them. So I'll have to try it out and see how it works now, but yeah, it's a bit. Also the booters, they're reworking really hard. They reduced its combine cost by a lot. It's now 1100 gold. They increase its total cost to 3500. They increase its base attack damage to 80, base lifesteal to 15. This looks nice, doesn't it? It's overall a buff. But here, removed attack damage lifesteal stacking passive. What this means is that you cannot just get a BF, cure your lane somehow, your jungle ganks you or whatever, and then you just buy a boot tester. When you come to lane, you have more damage and more sustain than the enemy AD carry. So basically, you can force trades over and over again, and until the enemy jungler comes, the enemy bot lane just cannot do anything. You stack the damage to 100, and them sitting on a BF sword and a vampiric scepter, that's 45 damage. You have more than them. Yeah, they changed that. A new passive. They give him a new passive. Your lifesteal can now overheal you, granting a shield that can block from 50 to 410 damage based on champion level. This should decay rapidly if you have not taken or dealt damage in the last 15 seconds. What they are trying to do is make AD carries stronger in defense, if I can say it that way. They reduce the overall damage what an AD carry, which AD carry can do, but they give it a lot more options to protect itself. So I don't think that buff is in the right direction for AD carries. Like, they're meant to kite and kill the whole team. Like, that's what their purpose is, just to wreck the whole teams, just kite them, and late game they should deal the most damage out of all champions. So I don't think this change is really good. Oh, maybe if you build it on champions like Yasuo and Riven, they also get the booters to their builds. Like I mentioned in my guide, but I usually build the blade. After I use the proc damage on it, I'll have to try it out, but I think the new pass will be really good on champions like Riven and Yasuo, because they're melee and getting as much defense as possible is amazing. New item, Essence Weaver. Here's the recipe. You can pause the video if you want. I won't bother with it because I haven't seen it and I'm not an AD carry man. I cannot talk much about it. Here's a nice buff. They changed the recipe. Now it's a Chalice of Harmony plus a Forbidden Idol and 870 gold. This makes 2450 gold total. Yeah, it's expected when you change the recipe. They increase its mana regeneration per 5. They basically double it. What this means is that mana hungry supports like let's say Nami or Lulu can be Lulu. I meant Sona. They can just pump their abilities and don't worry about their mana. This is a pretty huge buff. Plus they give it a 10% cooldown reduction, which is amazing. Like, cooldown reduction is always amazing on every champion, even Yasuo. Yeah. Ardent Sensor, I really don't know what this does. Whenever you heal or shield another champion, they give 25% attack speed for 6 seconds. This will be good on Sona. Yeah, this will be fucking amazing on Sona and Janna, because they can heal. Sona can heal 2 targets, Janna can shield 1 target, heal the whole team. So I think with that item you may see Sona and Janna way more often. Athens and Holy Grail. This nerf, not a change, this straight out nerf is really good and if you look at this an item variety, you basically build a Athens and Holy Grail, and yeah, you don't have much of an item choice. Athens and Holy Grail was the most cost efficient item of all. Like, if you're in Italy, why would you buy a Morel Nomicon? Huh? It gives you 75 AP and the mana regeneration is 12, right? With Nidalee you need the mana to poke and you need the AP, but you also are squishy and you need to stay back, so you need some resistances. Look at this. Magic resist, it gave 40 magic resist, like no other item in this, in the mid laners. Actually, no other item than the Abyssal Scepter gave so much magic resist. They nerfed it, they reduced it by 15, so now it's only 25. They reduced its mana regeneration by 5, but they increased mana restoration on kill or assist. Now champions that rely on no winning like Syndra can get way more mana for killing someone. Morel Nomicon, they buff its AP, they reduce mana regeneration. Yeah, they try to make more of a late game item. Forbidden Idol, they reduce its cost, so yeah, it's really good. Walk to Jarasuari. If someone doesn't understand it, I'll explain it really simple. You walk it, skills of the guy who casts, I forgot what the exact formula, but it was a number plus your level, and that's what the shield was. And if a support who is level 10 buys this item, he will shield everyone with his level 10 item. This doesn't matter what level the others are. They may be level 2, they may be level 18. Now what they change is that everyone who receives a shield, the shield scales of his own base level, of his own level. Meaning that if a support level 10 buys it, the guy who is level 18 will receive a bigger shield, and the guy who is level 9 we will receive the level 10 shield, because here is it. I'll just read it for you. Now we'll now use recipient's level, I don't know how to pronounce it, to calculate shield strength if the recipient's level is higher than the item owner level. So if you're lower than the guy who casts the Walk of Giant Sword, you won't get any penalty, you just get the caster's shield. This is a big change to tank items. Attack speed slow, they reduced it. So now AD carries can basically shred tanks faster. Like, for example, Vayne and Kog'Maw, they're the two tank shredders. Them being able to attack even faster is a pretty huge buff to them. The attack speed slow here on Randus, the movement speed slow on being hit is removed. What this means now that champions like Shyvana, who build the Randus summon, if they jump, they need to use the active immediately. The active is about 3 seconds or 2 seconds slow. They need to use it immediately, and AD carries who attack them won't get their movement speed reduced. This means that champions like Shyvana, Mundo, Renekton even, what else? Whatever builds this, they'll basically become kites. Nothing different, nothing other than kites. So now you have to plan your engages. You can't just gain Dragon's Descent as Shyvana. You can't just jump in there and expect to kill everyone. You just get kited. So I think this opens a lot to the flanking potential. Evelynn or Shyvana jumping over walls, whatever. So that's basically it, I think. Yeah, there are no other changes to the items. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Anyway, I forgot, notice even Riot says it. As usual, these numbers aren't final, and hence the forecast plus this specific PB note. So don't expect everything that they say will go live, so don't trust me on that. Anyways, see you guys in the next video.